You're exhausted. Your eyes burn. You know you should go to sleep, yet your thumb swipes up, again and again. This persistent behavior is a systemic override of human agency. It happens because the digital environment has been structured to bypass the conscious effort required to stop. The early internet was a decentralized web of static pages you navigated by choice. Modern platforms operate as active funnels, using an architecture designed to pull you towards specific high-retention paths. This design has one primary objective: the capture, retention, and monetization of your attention. Every pixel and transition is optimized to remove the friction of leaving. In this environment, the act of consumption happens by default. The platform is built to sustain engagement without requiring your active, conscious decision to continue. The mechanism behind this capture is the human dopamine system, a biological circuit evolved for survival, now repurposed for retention. While often associated with pleasure, dopamine actually functions as the chemical driver of anticipation. It creates the urge to seek out a potential reward, rather than the satisfaction of receiving one. Tech platforms exploit this seeking behavior through variable reinforcement. This involves delivering rewards, like likes, comments, or entertaining videos, on a highly unpredictable schedule. This mimics the engineering logic of a casino slot machine. A simple action is followed by a randomized delay and an unpredictable result, creating constant expectation. The pull to refresh gesture is the digital version of that lever. Each motion is a gamble on whether the next post provides a neurochemical payoff. Because the value of the next post is unknown, dopamine levels spike significantly higher than they do for rewards that are predictable. Machine learning models monitor these reactions in real time, mapping exactly which types of content trigger the strongest response from your specific biology. By adjusting the frequency and timing of these rewards, the algorithm keeps the anticipation loop active, delivering a win just as you reach the threshold of boredom. As the algorithm controls the timing of these rewards, the brain's seeking drive makes scrolling the default action, often occurring before a rational choice can be made to stop. Beyond the immediate chemical pull, the speed of this consumption introduces a secondary form of cognitive strain. Switching from a tragedy to a comedy to an advertisement in under a minute forces the brain into a state of aggressive task switching. With finite biological bandwidth, processing too many distinct contexts too quickly incurs a cognitive penalty, failing to fully encode information before the next stimuli arrives. This constant context switching erodes the baseline capacity for deep, sustained focus. The brain becomes conditioned to expect a change in stimuli every few seconds. This creates a direct conflict with real-world tasks. Reading, problem-solving, or long-form conversation require a slow, steady processing speed that the digital feed has effectively trained the brain to reject. As deep focus becomes more difficult, the high-speed, low-effort environment of the algorithm becomes the only place where the brain can exist without feeling a sense of frustration or understimulation. Over months and years, this state of capture moves beyond temporary fatigue and begins to drive long-term biological adaptations. Prolonged exposure often results in a persistent state of social comparison, sensory overload, and a mental exhaustion that remains even after the screen is turned off. These symptoms are the result of neuroplasticity. The brain physically rewires its pathways to efficiently process its most frequent environment. By optimizing for high-speed feeds, the brain raises its baseline for stimulation. This makes off-screen reality, moving at a slower pace, feel dull and unrewarding. While platforms were engineered for engagement metrics, the byproduct is a brain that has physically adapted to that specific pace. The brain now requires the algorithm's constant output to feel a sense of normalcy. Consider the physical reflex of reaching for your phone during any gap in activity. That impulse is a sign that your biological baseline has shifted to favor the machine's pace over your own. Based on this neurological reality, the question is no longer just how we use these tools, but how they have reshaped our internal autonomy. When you scroll, is it because you want to see what's next, or because your brain has been trained to never stop looking?